Recently I've started flying the P47 in DCS, and in order to train myself I've been flying up against the AI. I decided to film some of those engagements so we can have a little look, and maybe I can explain what's going on and what I'm trying to achieve in those fights. The reason I'm doing this is basically to show my learning. This is not a channel where I show off how much of an ace I am, which hopefully people have realized by now. So you won't see supreme flying and ace quality marksmanship. The setup is that I've got an AI and my P47 facing each other. The AI is set to veteran skill level, which is one below the top skill level. The AI is also flying a 109 equipped with MW50. The views that you'll see in this video were recorded using TrackIR after the fact. So I originally flew these flights in VR, but for the sake of YouTube I then re-record the views with TrackIR. So what I'm looking at in the videos here might not be exactly what I was looking at the time. The commentary, however, is live. I much prefer to give my actual thoughts and commentary live whilst I'm flying. I've tried in the past to record commentary after the fact, but I find that I tend to deploy hindsight too much to justify myself in what I was doing. So I've left in the original raw commentary that I recorded whilst I was flying. Hopefully that means you can get inside my head a little bit more. The learnings from this will be explained at the end of the video. Let's get on then with the first engagement. Here we go, we're going to merge with this 109 shortly. I'm just going to off my line from his so that we're not passing directly head to head. It looks like at the merge I'm going to have a slight altitude disadvantage. We're starting to get a little bit of airspeed up now, and we're about to merge now. I'm going to try and just roll up over the top a little bit and put one single notch of flap in, and around we go. He's probably going to climb up behind me. I'm going to keep a reasonable rate of turn going until I hit 150 indicated airspeed, and then it's about time to reduce the rate of turn because this aeroplane hates turning below 150 indicated. And I'm looking for my guy. Okay, he's dropped away in his turn, so I'm going to have a bit of altitude on him. I'm doing 170, which is fine. He's right underneath me now. I'm going to have to roll left, I think, soon, and sit on top of him. I'm going to bring the throttle back. Okay. And he's going to pull the nose up. So it's time for me to hopefully pull the nose up early before I start falling out of the sky. Very wobbly there. Unfortunately I couldn't catch it. Got 250 kph on here. Very unstable aeroplane. So all that advantage I did have then is gone. I'm going to turn the water back on. Gain some airspeed. Get the aeroplane settled. And try and brake back into him. You can see the wings working hard there. Alright, he's just offshore. We're going to be going almost head to head here, and he's got some speed on me now, so it's almost like the initial merge all over again. I'll try some shots. No, aircraft's not stable. He's going to drop underneath me most likely. No, he's just gone round in a circle. Right, what's my airspeed? 200, that's plenty to get a good turn in here. I'll put a touch more flap in, and around we go. Trying to stay balanced. And he's coming up behind me, so he's dropped away there. He does have a little bit of trouble following the P47 around an initial turn, and I'm going to have to roll, let the nose come down, and then very gently try and bring the nose up. This is the part where I tend to have problems, but I just got to keep it nice and smooth, keep the ball centered, and we go up and over the top with him on my 6, but that's okay. Try and roll over now. That was a bit aggressive on the roll. Okay, now I've got the nose pointing down. I've got to reduce the angle of attack, just allow the aircraft to settle naturally. Almost in a position now where I've got an advantage. Gentle roll, and gently back on the stick. Alright, and now I've nearly got him. I'm behind him now. I can afford to roll over the top and throttle back to put myself in a lag position. That's better. I'm going to take the water off now, and I'm just going to wait for this lag turn to pay dividends. The nose drops down quite quickly when you get the nose over, so you can actually get a good rate of turn when you're inverted, and if you want to turn the aircraft down towards the ground. Water back on now. Now we should be able to close and get some shots away very shortly. I'm just going to not roll as, I'm not going to pitch up as much as him, so I'm going to roll early. That'll help me close the gap. I don't want to get too far out to his right, because then he'll swing over. So I'd rather lag and get behind him. Bit of right rudder needed here. I can feel the aircraft starting to yaw off to the left. He's going to try and scissor, back on the throttle. No hits. And away he goes, away from me. That's fine. I did not want to keep my airspeed up there and run the risk of him slipping in behind me with that scissor. Back lag turning now. In fact, I can lead turn a bit here to cut the corner because we're going downhill. And now I'll lag turn when we go up over the top. And I roll early. I've actually managed the throttle quite a lot there by bringing it right back. I'm not letting this aircraft run full tit all the time. Ooh, probably could have pulled some lead there, got some hits on him. Now I'm going to throttle up, and I'm going to try and close for the finish, perhaps on the next climb. Yeah, can stay right on a 6 now. I'm going to lead him as we go up. Need to get closer or more deflection. Hits on his wing, hits on his engine, hits on the canopy, and the radiators are done. His engine will stop eventually now. Now I'll see if I can just break off, and he shouldn't be able to follow me anymore. He simply won't have the power to stay with me. He can keep fighting if I choose to put myself in a position to give him a shot, but he just has no engine power. So I can sit above him and effectively wait for his engine to die, but I'm not going to. I'm going to end this. So, throttling back, dropping in. Turn the water off. Won't need that now, the water injection. I'll let him go underneath as I roll up over the top. I think he's going in anyway. Or he's looking for a place to set down. Touch more flap. The radiator's now run out of fluid that was leaking. Very hard to roll over. May have got a couple more hits on him there. He's trying to scissor now, but I'm not going to let him get away from me. Just roll early. Zero the throttle almost. Got to stay behind him. As long as we keep that flap down, I'll be nice and slow and turn. He's going in very shortly, surely. Maybe not. Follow him down again. It looks like he's flying happily, but he's not, because I can tell you that I'm only pushing this P47 to about half of its capacity right now. So there's absolutely nothing wrong with the damage model here, if it looks like there is. I'm almost zero throttle just to stay behind this guy. He's got zero energy. We'll get the nose up. I think I might have missed him there. Oh, a very sloppy P47 at the moment. Okay. Power on. Flaps up, almost. His engine's out and he's going in. This time I'm going to give the 109 a bit more of an altitude advantage at the merge, and I'm not running it at full throttle. And now I'm going to throttle up. He's going to whip over the top of me, so he's coming in with quite a bit of extra speed, and he's probably put his nose down a little bit there at the initial merge and dropped underneath me, but he will have a good load of energy there. So I'm going to roll over. I've got the water engaged and I'm going to let him drop out in front of me, but he's now going to climb, so he will actually pop up above me. So this is a very, very gentle me bringing that nose up, and I'm going to have to lag him to begin with. Very careful that I don't get in front of him there too much. Now I can drop away, rolling the aircraft to try and get around behind him. Now I'm going to go left and then hopefully right. I've just lost control of the airplane there for a second into a spin. So now I've got a recovery to conduct. I'm going to bring the airplane into a pretty steep dive as he follows me down, and now I can actually climb back up because the 109 is going to struggle a little bit following me down in the dive. Up we go, and looking around all the time. Quick check of my airspeed that I don't get too close to that 150 mark. He's behind me and low. We're at reset, letting the nose drop, and this is the dangerous part here. Very gentle back on the stick, very gentle. He's going to be head on with me here. He's fired off some rounds and hit me. I think it was only MG though, so I got lucky. My aircraft is damaged, but he gave up, I think, his critical position there, getting guns on me, so I can get behind him now. Right, full stink on the engine. Roll with him around this corner. Try and sort of get behind if I can here, and follow him around again. Yeah, he's in this heavy diving turn that the 109s like to do, but the P47 can follow them around in this. It's the problem when he pulls the nose up. That's when I've got to be careful. Here it comes. Now I've just got to very gently follow him in a lag, rolling left with left rudder as well to bring the airplane around, throttling back so I don't lead him. There we go. He's going to pop out. Hopefully he'll keep that left wing down. I'm just rolling behind now. Low throttle, low throttle, low throttle there. It's the excellent roll rate of this aircraft. It's perfect for these kind of maneuvers. A few long shots, not sure if I got a hit there. Now I'll get some hits. Full power. Nothing. Oh, maybe some hits. Getting closer though now. Just trying to rake that airplane with that little bit of lead I was able to pull. And he's getting away from me again. Streaming something, possibly coolant. I think I touched his wing, but that's not going to do any kind of damage to a 109. A little single 50 cal on the wingtip. I need to get closer now. Make sure my flaps are in the up position. Water on, full power, full RPM, and we'll close them in this corner. Bit of lead there, touched them on the wing. That's closer, on the fuselage. Both radiators now damaged, and I've just lost control of the airplane for a second, kicking the right rudder over to stay stable. Really closing on, flapping again. I'll need this flap just to follow him around in the turn, I think. Up he goes, and wing over. That was a dangerous move. Oh, I don't want to follow him there. That was a good thing I didn't try to follow that, because he pulled quite a lot of G, I think, there, just for half a second, or relative to me I would have had to had I wanted to follow him at the nose. And I would have probably spun the aeroplane. It's not looking so good at the cockpit here, but no serious damage for me. There comes some serious damage for him. 50 caliber all along the aeroplane. You can see the right gun's landing on the right and my left gun's landing on the left. He's on fire. Goodbye 109. Let's go again. The 109 is inbound again. This time I'm going to go to a heavy climb just prior to the merge, and hopefully he won't get guns on me. Just about ready now. Up we go. I'm going to pull the aircraft almost straight up. I don't want to get above, I don't want to get below 150. He's going to probably nose up as well. So I'm going to start the turn, and I do not want to get this turn below 150. I'll put a touch of flap in now, one notch of flap. There we go, we didn't drop below 150, so that was actually a nice smooth maneuver. And we are co-altitude with this guy, about to go head on. Can I get some shots away here? No. I just snapped at the controls there to try and see if I could get some shots on him. I think if I just allowed the aircraft to keep turning, I would have been in a better position than I am. We'll keep turning though, I've got great airspeed here. With this water injection and a little bit of flap, we can really pull the nose around. Just about out of energy though, as the speed comes back to 170. It's time now to try and drop in. So, back on the stick, or relaxing the stick I should say. A little bit of right roll and a little bit of right rudder, and then I'm going to allow the nose to come up. That was a mistake. Getting into this position here and then not keeping my foot on the rudder. Unfortunately, I relaxed my foot off the rudder, which I should not have done. And now he's above me and behind me. So, bit of a mistake there, allowing the aircraft to get unstable in that dive. But I think we've solved the problem. Now we're in an identical situation again. So I'm going to roll right with a bit of right rudder and just hold it there and let the nose come up naturally. Oh, taking that right rudder off too early again. Right, same situation, third time in a row. More roll this time. More roll, more roll, more roll. There we go. Throttle back a bit. Hold that right rudder in. You've got to hold that foot in. Oh, not easy. Not easy. Really is just minuscule movements of the control surfaces to try and keep the aeroplane steady. I'm in a really good position though now. Don't need any water at the moment at all. Okay, now water on, power on. We can easily follow this guy around in the turn. I want to get closer before I pull the trigger. It just feels like I would need too much deflection. Yeah, I'll have to lose sight of him in order to get enough deflection. So I'm going to wait for him to level his maneuver. That's not leveling, that's making it even harder for me. That rollover is really tough to follow. Wow, he's going the other way here. That could get unstable for me. Just got to lag it. Lag this one. Throttle back. There we go. Just so I can stay behind him. There's no point forcing this. I'm in a really good position here. If I try and force it, I run the risk of either overshooting or snapping on the controls and spinning the aeroplane. Letting the natural weight of the engine there pull the nose around. He's got away from me a bit, but we'll close again. Long range shots, not nearly enough deflection, too far out. I'm starting to get a bit impatient now. This is where you make a mistake. Couple of rounds. Here we go. I feel like we've got him here. Yep. Oops. Well, that was a nice reversal, buddy. But unfortunately, you just put yourself in harm's way. His gear is down on the right. Water off. RPM down. Wow. Terrible shot. He's going to be extremely slow. I think I'll go with another notch of flap. So there's another damaged 109. Just, he's really sloppy. That gear is still hanging down. Try some shots from range. I think they fell away short. Power on. Scissoring. I'll see if I can get something in there. That was a nicer shot. He might change direction again. We'll just keep an eye on it. What I'll do is I'll get my nose up above him. There he goes. And he's going to go down. That's actually intelligent flying. I just adjusted my position relative to him and he immediately changed his tactic. I brought my nose up a fraction. He decided to dive away. I think I'll put the water on. Give myself access to a bit more power just in case I want to close on him suddenly. Oh, that was a bad shot. Not enough rudder. The nose was pointing high the whole time. Shooting's been a bit average on this one. It's because he's wobbling around a bit more, I think. Got to get the nose low. That would have hurt. He's on fire. He's inverted and the canopy's gone. There's the pilot. That's the end of that scrap. I could have perhaps been shooting a little bit better on that one, but I think the maneuvering, except for a couple of mistakes early on, was pretty good. And once you're behind these guys, kind of having the confidence just to lag them as they go around really helps, especially when you've got access to the water injection should you need it to close the gap. We're fighting again now, but this time we are at much lower altitude. Down here, the 109 should have speed advantage over me. He's going to perform a lot better than he was able to up at altitude. This is going to be a much tougher fight. So here we go, into the merge. He's already opened up on me, which is a bit annoying. And I'm going to just put one notch of flap in. Roll the aeroplane around there. Watch the speed and the stability as we come around the corner. Might be able to outturn him here, let's see. That's coming back into 150 now. I'll run out of maneuvering speed. I'll just try and keep it in a flat turn. We are gaining on him, I think, but managing the turn here is really tough. He's probably going to go up in a second. Yep, that's what they tend to do. They go up. And he's actually gone over the top. Airspeed's out for me. I've got nothing left here. I'm going to get level. See what he does. Going to try and roll that way, which means he will drop underneath me. If I chop the throttle and roll, I might be able to get behind him. Don't really have the airspeed for this. Try and get the nose up a fraction. Okay, I'm out of airspeed. He's dropped underneath me, but I'm spinning now. I really need to recover. I still have no airspeed. Flaps up. Okay, I buggered that up by trying to follow him in the climb. Now he's going to be on my 6. I'll get up to 400 and then we'll pull a turn. and we'll try and break into him. There he is. Okay, still got 200, so I've got a little bit of airspeed still. He's above me now. He's going to drop on my 6. There he goes, underneath me. I just got to hold this turn. Ah, he's got me here. I cannot hold this turn with him underneath me. Starting to get closer as we go around the corner. He's slow. I'm slow, so I've got a tighter turning radius at the minute. Oh, I don't want to bring in that left rudder. Oh, just put on the left rudder to try and actually get the aircraft stable, and in the process I started stalling a wing. He's now going up behind me. Let's see if I can just get the nose around a fraction. There we go. Okay. Well, we've managed to recover from that almost disaster. He's dropping behind me again. I want to roll and go the other way while he's in the process of diving. He's underneath me. I'm going to roll again. He's gone over the top. Oh, I can't see him. Oh, he's behind me. Okay. Oh shit. There we go. Ran out of airspeed. Need that flap. Wow. Traces over the canopy. So I'm going to flat turn with 0 energy. Almost hitting the trees there. We're just going around in circles here with 0 energy, both of us. And I'm floppy and sloppy. He's above again. Just going to try the high boom and zoom maneuver, but he has to break off quite early there to avoid crashing, which is something I'm about to not do. That is avoid crashing. Right, he's just above me. He's can zoom and boom me all day here. Get 200 miles per hour indicated, which is enough to actually affect quite a nice turn. So there we go. Now we're in a shooting position, I think. I may have got hits on. Yep, I think I just touched him there. He's not hurt though, not enough. Nose up again. I'll let the heavy nose of the aircraft sink. See if I can follow him. There we go. This is quite a weird sort of situation where we're in this vertical maneuvering. I think I touched him again. That was bad. Oh no, that was bad. Just kicked the nose over with the rudder. It's so unresponsive with the rudder, this P47 at low airspeeds, that you try to kick the nose over, which is a habit from the Spitfire, to get guns on, and the airplane just falls out of the sky. Comes to a complete stop right there and then. Okay, I've got my airspeed though back. You can see what a beast this is not when we're down low here, and he's just toying with me now. He's going to drop on my 6. Just going to keep the nose up, and now I'll bring the nose down, try and gain a little airspeed, gain a little corner. We're actually far away from each other all of a sudden, so that's quite good. Let's see if I can get this nose up. I need to try and guess his trajectory correctly here. Good hits on him. He's actually leaking something. Right. While he's damaged, water off, dive away as fast as I can, Actually, I'm going to put the water on again. I need to get some distance on this guy while he's a bit damaged. Hopefully I've got the airspeed now. Right, that's flattened out the fight. Let's go back in. Fast turn. Flap up. Touched him there as well. Water off. Back to the left. He's not happy now. This is much easier now to fight. I feel a lot more relaxed now that he's damaged. Give the engine a rest as well. Okay, power on. Try and use that to get a turn in. Oh wow, he's got a nice turn happening there. Which way is he going to go? He's going right. So this is kind of a weird one circle turn happening. One circle fight as we go around in opposite directions. Eventually one of us is going to get a solution, probably me. Oh, that was close. He actually opened up as well then. Just got to keep turning. Well inside him now, inside his turn. Raked across the canopy. You can see the effect the damage has had. He's just not nearly as dangerous as he was. I run the risk of getting complacent here and making a fatal mistake. Now I should get some rounds away. If I can get the nose over. No, I can't. Go right hand turn. Bit more rudder. He's got a bit of altitude again. He's slowly getting back into almost a boom and zoom kind of position. That's going to hurt him. He's going to have to give up a bit of altitude there and dive away. Interestingly enough, he's managed to kind of position himself behind me. But with the energy situation that he's got currently, I don't think that's going to do him any favours. Now I'm down at 150. Which is as slow as I can afford to go. I think he's facing away from me. Yeah, he's hurt. He's hurt bad. Just got a couple of good rounds on him and a couple of those passes earlier. That aeroplane is not performing at all at the moment. You can see how slow he is. Is my rudder's not working? There, full left rudder there. Absolutely no rudder response. So you've really got to use the ailerons in this aircraft because the rudder hates you. Right, I'll see if I can line up better this time. I'm using more roll rather than rudder. On the canopy, radiators, engine. He's super slow. Too close. Just the guns from my left wing hitting there. I just had to point my left wing at him rather than pointing my gun sight at him so that at least one set of guns would hit. And that's close range with the 50 cal. You can see what it does. Pretty long fight there. That's down low. It's very even. Let's talk about some of the things I've learned. I'm going to whip through this list pretty quickly, and I'm not going to dwell on anything in any detail. Firstly, I agree with those who say that the P47 performs best at high altitudes, certainly relative to the 109. I noticed a totally different kind of set of disadvantages at low altitude that I didn't have up high. Certainly against the AI, flying this thing at 8,000 meters or more, or 24,000 feet or so, will put you in good stead against the 109. In particular, I found it much easier to fight up at altitude. You've heard me probably mention 150 miles per hour as my maneuvering speed for this aircraft, and basically that is because I noticed that once you get below 150 indicated, it becomes very difficult to maneuver the airplane, particularly turning, and any kind of AOA below 150 will hurt you bad. So I try to keep my maneuvering speed above 150, particularly in sustained maneuvers. The instantaneous turn on this airplane is pretty good at high airspeeds. Once you get above 250 miles per hour, you can whip that nose around for the first half to 3/4 of a turn. So if you get the opportunity to gain some airspeed in a fight, unless you're under immediate threat, I suggest taking it, because you can quickly then whip the aircraft back around and change direction if you have that airspeed to play with. The aircraft has a heavy nose. I noticed this a few times, but you can use this to your advantage, particularly if you're inverted and you want to pull the aircraft around so that you're pointing at the ground. You can do this almost by just touching the elevators a fraction and let the heavy nose drop the aeroplane down. You'll turn at a similar speed to what you will with some elevator on, and you won't get unstable. By pulling back on the stick, this thing tends to get quite unstable quite fast, so you can use gravity and that big heavy nose to help bring the aeroplane around when you need it. Related to that is the fact that this aeroplane has a lot of momentum. It is a big, massy object, so changing direction and trying to get your vector away from where it's currently going requires a lot of work. Add to that the fact that when you are slow, the control surfaces become very ineffective, and I'm mostly talking about the rudder here. Once you get below about 150, that rudder does almost nothing to your nose. You can kick in full rudder and your nose hardly moves. This makes achieving those rudder-driven shots very difficult, and so that is something you can do a lot in the Spitfire. You can kick the rudder left and right to adjust your shooting. Can't really do that so well in the P47 when you're slow. You will need to be rolling the aircraft to get your nose where you want it, which many people would argue is the correct technique in any case. The guns themselves are pretty effective. I don't have too much of an issue with the guns, provided you're not firing from too big a range. And I know a lot of people tend to use that gyroscopic gun sight, which enables you to open up from a long way out. I don't use it. I wait till I get in close, and I try to hit them at convergence or inside convergence with as many of those rounds as possible. And you can see when I managed to get just 4 of the guns on the 109 from really close range, it basically rips them to shreds. So my advice when shooting with this aircraft is not to be tempted to fire from long range, which is often the temptation with these 50 cals. Get in close just like you would with any other aircraft and let them have it. Lastly, a bit of a comment on the AI. So the AI skill level is veteran, which is close to the top skill level. I did not see anything that I would describe as UFO or weird behavior from the AI. I know that historically the DCS AI has a reputation for this kind of UFO behavior and defying physics, but I don't see that at all, and I must have flown this little setup about 10 or 15 times. At no point did I ever observe the AI doing something which I thought was breaking the laws of physics. Secondly, I also noticed that damaging the AI really does impact the way they perform. Get a few rounds on these aircraft, get something leaking, damage a control surface, and okay, they're not going to fall out of the fight straight away, but you notice that it is much easier to stay with them. They might slow down a bit, they can't maneuver quite as well, and you can see the change in performance when you hit these AI aircraft. So fighting against the AI is getting a lot better in DCS. A lot of this stuff might just be cumulative effect of a number of subtle changes, but really, this reputation for AI UFO behavior, it's not being supported in my experience by at least what I'm seeing here. Okay, that's the end of that. I hope that video was enjoyable. I really do plan to take some of this learning online and to see if it translates into the PvP multiplayer environment.